Undead Unluck is probably one of the wildest animes that I've seen so far. So the reason why I wanted to talk about Undead Unluck, because I watched the first episode and I was wondering, wait, how is this a thing? How does this anime exist within this cancel culture that we're having right now? I don't really check, anime Twitter or whatever's trending on, anime in Twitter or Reddit or whatever. So I don't know if there was an outrage or upset about Undead Unluck, but I assume that there is. Somewhere out there, somebody had to be triggered at that first episode. And the reason why I'm saying Undead Unluck is wild is because there was a lot of scenes in the beginning of the episode and just throughout the whole episode that he was basically, touching this girl in very precarious ways. And, you start to think like, whoa, I can't believe it's not. And then you start thinking, wow, how is this an anime? How is this streaming in Japan? How are people watching this and thinking that it's crazy? Even though I do think it's probably going to be a good show because of the anime and the action that we saw in there. But at some point, you have to be like, why did the author do this? Is it just for shock value? Is this going to be a recurring theme? And you start to think about it, you're like, do I really want to watch this? And then you start to see the action and you're like, yeah, I want to watch this. It shocked me how weird just the explanation behind everything was. But basically the premise of Undead Unluck is that this guy is basically immortal. He's a zombie. He can regenerate no matter what happens to him. Like literally in the first episode, he got bombed and he was able to regenerate from that. So no matter what happens to him, he can regenerate to any extent. And he's been living for as long as a couple of hundred years. I think that's his tattoo showing how many years he's lived. And he really wants to end himself. He wants to, end his life because he's seen too many things. He doesn't want to keep on living for infinitely forever. And this other girl has the power of unluck, which is, you can see by the title, the title, Undead Unluck. Stout power of being very unlucky. So whoever touches her can possibly die in the next few seconds due to some random circumstance. And that's what we see in the anime. And then the way they go about showing that is they basically make that guy grope her. And it's really weird when you think about it. Maybe if you're a teenager, you're like, wow, this is amazing. But when you're getting a little bit older, like I am, when a 24-year-old, you start to think was that really necessary? Is this just the plot just so they can get people excited for the anime? People outraged or start to complain about it and try to cancel it just to get it even more viral. Is that the plot for animes nowadays? I mean, I would say anime has always been like that. Anime has always had that ecchi, typical tropes in them, and then they'd always have the underwear slipping off or the boob touching, just randomly falling into boobs. I get it, it's anime, it's Japan, they have their weird things, but it's kind of getting excessive. When you watch so many anime that you don't really see that anymore because it started to get excessive and started to be really annoying. But when you get things like Fire Force and Undead Unluck keep on showing you hey, this is Japan, this is Japan. Yeah, I think that it's really weird that that was a lot of the things that were going on. I'm probably still gonna watch it. It might annoy me to have those weird anime moments in there, but I do think that it has a pretty interesting plot, and then it also has some pretty interesting action sequences going on. The first fight scene that you actually saw in there was pretty damn good, I'm not gonna lie, and that's just the start of the season, so it's probably gonna be a lot more interesting animation and fight sequences going on. But then I also want to talk about all this sexual innuendos is why the manga was about to fail out of Shonen Jump, because I remember a couple of years ago when Undead Unluck first started. I think it started about 2 years ago. I'm not really sure, but I do think it started a couple years ago in Shonen Jump, and it's been making its progress in the Shonen Jump world. But I do remember that Undead Unluck was basically failing. It couldn't get any copies sold, so Shonen Jump was thinking about Xing it, but apparently they didn't, and it's been going on in Shonen Jump for now. And it's been making its way, and now it's finally having an anime. So of course, when you get an anime, and a good animated one like they've shown already, it's going to be boosted in the Shonen Jumps sales wise. So there's going to be a lot more people buying it because they know it from the anime. So I do think that it's probably going to take a jump in sales. It's probably going to get up to the top 10. It's probably already the top 10 because it's been serialized for so long in Shonen Jump. But yeah, maybe that was the reason. Maybe they just couldn't get people interested in the story, the premise. Maybe there's just a arc that was just far too drawn out, far too many things like sexual innuendos going on. I don't know what the reason was, but there was a time that Undead Unluck was going to be X from Shonen Jump. Inevitably, it didn't, so that's why we have the anime today, and why they're probably going to be pushing a lot more Undead Unluck in the future. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys think that's too excessive with the cliche anime tropes, or do you think that's just anime in general, and that's never going to be etched out in the anime community? It's just going to keep on recurring, and new shonen and other manga upcoming. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Leave a like if you guys liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Go.